Welcome back. We are starting the stream. We are back for the actual race now. We had a little bit of a restart. I apologize for the inconvenience, but we've gotten quickly. I was right about that 5 minutes, maybe 10. It was a good amount of timing. Either way, if you did not join us for qualifying, I'm Ryan Ocon 31. I'm joined by GSR Thrasher and Davis 2K7. Welcome, guys. Make sure audio is included.
All right, so let's not have a rerun of what happened last time.
I agree with that.
But other than that, yeah.
Either way, about to get started. About to get started, yeah. All right, go ahead. Well, welcome, Davis.
Hello.
All right. We're about to start here for the Grand Prix. If you had missed the qualifying order, it's Jab and Term. We're going to figure out what the whole deal with Term and Jacob were. They both...
Term is going
now, Thrasher... Right. So, Jab... not Jab. Thrasher... Do Term and Jacob have to start on the intros?
Yes, so the top 10.
Okay.
Well, actually, no. Jacob doesn't have to. Term does.
Because here's that.
Term says he is because so Term he says that's the same like weather system.
Okay,
or whatever,
so both of them were on the inters, so it's fine. So
all right.
we don't have
Good
to
to
worry
know.
about that.
Good to know. All right, so here we're gonna go through the favorites. We're gonna pick new favorites now. Considering what we just saw a moment ago, I'm going to go with Jab. Jab's still got a good start, and even when he's been screwed over, I think 9 times out of 10, excluding the Portimao race, he's rebounded and he's got back and he's been able to rebound and have the chance for the win. So, Jab, even if he gets a bad start here, I still think he could win. And he had the great battle in the Austria rain portion of the race with Finn. So, I do see Jab winning this race and extending his championship lead even more. Jab, on pole. Still could win this. Davis, who's your favorite?
I'm gonna keep my favorite down in P4 subbing stock, of course, and so I'm expecting Jab to wreck on the start because he jinxed Term last race or like the restart. Now he's picking Jab, so I'm expecting Jab to wreck out here. So that's gonna be a jinx. So I'm gonna go subbing stock down in P4 again. I don't think he had any troubles with like the main race or nothing. So let's hope nothing goes wrong here. Thrasher, who's your favorite?
Thrasher.
I'm going to stay with Shizou Sam. Down in P11. You know, he had a great start. He had a great start, and then he got turned. So,
yeah.
I don't even know. But I think, again, Sam has the pace, especially in the wet, so he can definitely, drive through the field and possibly contend for this podium.
That's very true. And something I'm going to mention in this last sector as we get to the grid is, you mentioned how, I kind of cursed Term there, right? Will these conditions be anything different, though, or any different type of feel for Term and Jacob, considering what we saw? Obviously, this is more set up weather by the host now, instead of the game itself. What difference are we going to see? And the thing is, too, that I'm wondering, Thrasher might know this more than I do, considering he's an admin. Is there any patch of it drying up at the end and going to the inners, or is it gonna be a full wet race the whole time,
From what I
or
saw,
anything
it's
from
full
dries
wet.
at the end?
Yep.
From what I saw.
Alright.
So let's see Term. Let's see if he like uses what he learned from the last restart and see if he can get a better restart here.
Hey, he's the one for both strategies. He gone for it, and so did Jacob too. Last week's winner. We'll find out how that does them. Here we go now for the start. It's the second time around here at Hungary. 4 lights, 5 lights. Jab, can he get a better start than last time? Term's gonna drive through now on the intermediates. Term has got the drive through, and Jab leads the way into turn 1 as Finn's got another great start. Finn, and now subbing Sock is challenging. He's got second place, or at least net P2, as Jab keeps the lead now into turn 1. Finn are on the outside of subbing Sock. Both the Alpines go wheel to wheel. Can we avoid the trouble now down to turn 2 as Finn and subbing Sock go wheel to wheel? And now toward the back, the Red Bull of Rev Caterpillar, he's been able to keep it clean as well. So both the Red Bulls out of trouble, but it's Term who got the drive through as Finn is still side by side in turn 3 now. Contact! And Jab, he keeps the net lead, but Term is holding him back as we head to Sector 2.
Yeah, right now Subbing Stock does gain a position. We have a wreck on in the back, still in Sector 1, but right now Jab all over Term. Term's being a roadblock right now in front of the McLaren as he's going to get by. Jab leaves, but now Subbing Stock has to get by Term here. Term's not going to make it easy on these guys right now. Now Finn, he has to get by Term. Term jumps to start, and it looks like those enters is not the call, just like we said last time. As we're going to head off, and Thrasher, you can take it over.
We're still in your tier.
I know, take it over, buddy.
Sector. Okay. So now into turn 3 or sector 3. We had very close contact in the back. Term continuing to fall back, but now it's now a Jab with a 5/10 lead, and then those have an 8/10 lead over now 9/10. Now a second over Finn. As further
3
on
wide.
in the backs are 3 wide, and someone goes wide. Contact with Akos and Term and Extreme and everybody else. Now we go into sector 1.
As you can tell by my sound effects, it's been crazy and they crash! There goes Akos, there goes Extreme in its first start! They're off, and he's got no front wing! Will this bring out the safety car at all? We've seen it on the original start before the restart! We do not have anything as Alpha and Sam trade positions at turn 1. Sam's got ahead, and all the cars in the top 7, as we have a VSC, all the cars in the top 7 were within a second of the driver in front, as Jabba got off to a good start. Summing Sock up 2 positions, and that has just changed the outcome of this race once again, and it's been more crashes back at it, so they can't keep it clean in the wet.
Extreme, what is Extreme doing?
I don't know. I would like to know.
I think he gave up. He's about to go backwards. What is this guy doing?
I don't know. I don't know, but he's trying to get back going, or rather retire. I don't know which one will work, but he's definitely struggling. We can tell that. He's got no front wing. And his AlphaTauri teammate is just right ahead of him, too. He is sliding everywhere, maybe trying to get temperature in the tire. Yeah, he's doing a little bit more than that, and he's out of the race. You're not supposed to do that. You are not supposed to do that. This is your first start in the league, and now you probably know not to do that. So, he's out of the race. He's our first retirement. As we head to the last sector, this VSC Thrasher. The VSC restart's about to get underway, and we still don't know if it's
The
ending
other
or coming in for
AlphaTauri.
full safety
Finn.
car, and Finn's off. Oh no.
Oh, it's minus 1. But yeah, so Jab, who looked like had a great start, other than Term. Apparently Term had a better start because he somehow and Jab almost lost it off the final corner. We're down in the turn or sector 1. I keep.
Jab still holds on to the lead somehow from that, using a bit of overtake to do so. Here's Subbing Sock looking for a move at turn 1, can't complete anything, and can't make the move right there. Behind that, it's Venom holding onto the podium over Smokey, his Alpine teammate. Then Turner and Rev Caterpillar are holding onto their positions in this little battle as well. Behind that, it's Sam and Alpha, Cameron, and that's the battle for points. His Term, just barely, with his penalty to start the race, is holding on to a second gap to Finn, who fell back as well, Finn did, from that spin right there, and he was going to be on the podium and challenging for it, but he's no longer able to do so with that spin.
Yeah, right now we have nobody making any moves right now. Everybody's separated right now. It's a front 2 pull away. Subbing Sock 5/10 behind Jab right now, and Jab's gonna get a better X. He's gonna extend his lead. Still no side-by-side action going on right now. Everybody just taking it easy after that restart. But right now, everybody's just keeping it calm right now. Jab 6/10 of a second lead, about to be 7 as Jab's starting to extend his lead.
Yeah, so I should say Jab extending his lead. Looking at it's now a 5, goes from 5 to 6/10, but as you said, it's a 2.2 between Subbing Sock and Venom. Further on the back, we have Finn and Viper side by side. Them two battling. Looks like Finn will get the move done. No, Viper will go back on the inside. And it's more contact. Now into the final corner of Shabs. It's the fastest lap.
Yep, he leads this race, and there's still more contact between Finn and Viper. Finn is able to get ahead, having the inside line in the last corner, having that to be at his advantage. But down to turn 1, the overtake button being used by Viper to try to keep up with Finn. Can't do anything about that. Ahead of them, Finn locks up. Finn is going to allow Viper to get back to the inside, which has allowed Viper to go through. He's not fully ahead, which is allowing Viper to challenge back, and Finn challenging back. Now, onto the inners is Akos. Has this died down to the point where these drivers are going on to the inners? Term is now coming out of the pits after serving his drive-through.
Not the ideal start for Finn. Down 7 spots from his starting position right now, but still, everybody's just still separated after that little battle between Vin and Viper right now, as it's still 5/10 between Jab and Subbing Sock as they extend their gap. As we have a battle right now, Smokey easily passes Venom for the 3rd position. Smokey's up 4 spots here, 3.2 behind Subbing Sock, but Jab trying to pull away still.
Yeah, as you said, that gap continues to grow between P2 and P3, now 3.2 seconds as Akos picks up his first penalty, and the first time penalty of the race today. Further on the back, we got Finn and Cameron now side by side. It looks like it'll be a much more easier move for Finn as he gets past Cameron. And almost, we have a Shizou Sam pinning.
Subbing Sock takes the fastest lap in the Williams. He is right behind Jab and is trying to get his challenge up to him. Remember, Subbing Sock is still in that contention for second place in the points. We have drivers pitting. Is this time for the inners? We see both the Aston Martins pitting. And so is Alpha, as you mentioned. But up ahead of that, Turner and Venom battling for fourth. Then it's Subbing Sock and Jab for the lead. So, Subbing Sock got off to a better start, fourth to second. Jab still holding on to the lead. And someone else who fell back a couple positions, as you mentioned, was Term. Down 11 positions. That's partially because of the drive-thru, though.
Yeah, what I've realized here, Sobbing Sock is way better than Jab in Sector 1, but Jab is just so good here in the second sector. Look at that, 3 all the way back up to 5-10. So Jab, we see Jab really strong here in the second sector right now. No battles going on at the moment. Closest battle we have is we have Venom going off track just a little bit. It's not going to get any time loss or anything, but yeah, Jab, strong sector 2 as it's back to 5-10 between him and Sobbing Sock.
Yeah, as you said, we had a couple drivers earlier on last lap pitting for Inters. We'll see if that changes the minds of our current leaders. But yeah, we're just staying in a single line. You know, no one's really passing each other. No one's really pushing. But Sobbing Sock continues to try and keep that gap the same and tries to close in on Jab.
We have a battle at the last corner. I just picked up on that at the last second as Jab takes the fastest lap. And here's the McLaren and the Alpine making contact out of the final corner. Turner has had to go into the grass, but he's still keeping himself wheel to wheel with Venom as they both go into turn 1. There's other cars pitting, Rev Caterpillar and Finn. Now does this allow anybody else to pit as we have a crash at the back? That's Viper, who has spun out of the final corner. But just ahead of that, Turner has got the position on Venom, and Jab still holds the lead in Sobbing Sock. So what I question now is everybody outside of the top, well, I'd say top 7-ish. You have Jacob, the only one in the top 7, on the inners. Back behind that, is there anybody else going to go for the inners as we have a crash? That's Efforty Alpha out of the last sector and corner.
Right now, Sobbing Sock ran a fastest Sector 1 of this race right now, but of course, Jab pulls all that time back, so Sobbing Sock needs to change up in Sector 2 as you have Sam coming up on Caterpillar. This is for PA. He's not going to make the move as he's going to stay down in P9 right now, but yeah, Sobbing Sock losing the back end a little, 8/10 between him and Jab.
And something to sort out, I think if drivers are going to pit for these two leaders are going to pit for the inners here. I say that because Jacob, look how much Jacob's gained on Venom. The inters are so much faster than the wets, but does that change the mind? And it does. Here comes Jab, here comes Sobbing Sock. The two leaders, as I said, comes in for the intermediates.
Smokey too.
Smokey.
Yep. And the
McLaren double
rest are
stack.
just going to keep following. They're all going to
McLaren
keep
double stack.
following. Alpine double stack. There you go. That's the whole point. So Jacob, with that strategy, is he going to take the lead now? Everybody else going on to the inners, and we're going to see if anybody else here gets held in the pit lane. It's very possible. We have a crash in Sector 2. That's TTM Rain once again. Jacob now on the inners has set the fastest lap, and is your race leader. Last week's winner has overtaken Jab for the race lead. And now, where's Term? He's back in 11th, but he should be able to gain, I think, a position or two from this. We'll find out as the drivers continue to come out of the pit lane. The people who pitted a lap earlier, though, Shizou Sam and Rev Caterpillar. Look at that, getting positions, and there's contact out of turn 1. Sam has moved Caterpillar out of the way, allowing him to take 5th place there. Akos setting the fastest lap. Now, there's a crash there. That's TTM Rain out of the race. Will we see a safety car from this? We'll find out. But one thing I want to mention before we bring it to Davis is the dirty air between Jab and Sobbing Sock has put that battle down to up to a second.
Yeah, of course, like you said, the dirty air. Jab has extended his gap on Sobbing Sock, but that's not even, Jab does not need to worry about Sobbing Sock at the moment. It's all about Jacob. He's extending the gap on Jab. Of course, Jab just got out of pits, but right now, Jacob 11 spots up. Good call by him as he's setting fast in Sector 2 right now.
Yeah, it's Term left the session. If somebody could, can someone invite Term?
I'll get him.
But yeah, as you said, Sobbing Sock, you know, isn't the least of Jab's worries at the moment. He has to go run down Jacob, who is continuing to pull and pull away. Further on back, we got a close battle between Term and Adamant's Term. As Venom gets past Term's AI, as Jacob's the fastest lap.
So now we know why Jacob and Term went for the inners on the initial start. Look what this has done now. On lap 8 of the race, this has changed the whole outcome of the race. This has changed the strategy. 7 tenths between Jab and Subbing Sock, but the leader, not either of them. It's Jacob, who's kept his lead, pitting his Venom now. Does he have to come in a second time to maybe fix a bit of damage? I see a bit of front wing being changed. Yes, it is a bit of front wing being changed. We have a yellow flag, though. That's an Alfa Romeo who is out of the race, I think. That's FRT Alpha. That's a virtual safety car.
Yeah, right now this is Jacob 6 seconds on Jab, but of course before the VSC was 4 seconds, so of course this gap's gonna change as it looks like Jab's gonna try to back up and get a better VSC restart than Jacob here. But yeah, it looks like Jacob, he's really good on these enters right now. So of course Jab, Sobbing Sock, they're all gonna have to make adjustments to get used to these enters here as Jacob continues to pull. 11 spots for Jacob. Good strategy call by him, as we saw Term had issues at the start once again. He jumped it, so of course he could be up there with Jacob, but him jumping the start ruined it for him.
Yeah, Jacob now, do we see him pit? Maybe for fresh enters? Do we see him stay out, keep the track position? We'll see what happens, but waiting for the VSC to go away as Term is out. Green. Term, I have no idea what happened. But we're now green, and Jacob, the gap to Jab is going to be 4.9.
Yeah, Sam went off there at the penultimate corners. You see Terms out of the session. Something I do want to ask you guys, which you guys could enter by your, you guys could answer by when we get to the Sector 2 and Sector 3 is if Term, obviously Term's out of this race now, but if he had never jumped to start, would he be where Jacob is right now? That's what I wonder. I mean, he did have a struggling start in the first time, and I mean, Jacob did too a little bit, but maybe not as much. So these inners, the guys who started in inners, really beneficial for them to where they are at in this race right now, as Jab has set up purple Sector 1, right, taking over by Sobbing Sock.
The answer to your question, I do agree that I feel like Term, he would have got a better start. He would be up with Jacob right now. He learned from last restart. He learned from his mistake. I feel like he would be up with Jacob or possibly leading this race right now. But of course, he jumped it. It's going to cost him. Of course, that's something Jab likes to see, his rival out of this session. So let's see what Jab can do. Let's see if he can capitalize and pull in this championship lead.
Yeah, and also to answer your question, I think he would be the current leader right now. Obviously he started in front of Jacob, but I definitely think, if it wasn't for the drive-through, I think he definitely would have. And now we see Jacob off the final corner, and that gap is shortly shrinking as Jacob says the fastest lap, but I believe that will be taken over as it is taken over by Jab.
That's by 6 tenths, though. I mean, I'd say about more like 5 tenths. But you see the gap now as we switch to the interval gap with the leader. The difference there, the top 3, 5 seconds, then 10, 13, 15, 15. I mean, just a whole difference in the field. You can see the difference between these drivers. Subbing Sock now. He's losing time to Jab. Turner losing time to Rev Caterpillar. Actually gained it back right there at turn 1. But the next question I want to ask you as we head to Sector 2 is that if this race plays out the rest of the way, no pit stops, no nothing. Obviously, Jacob, if this race does not dry up at all, and there's no chance at dry tires, does Jacob keep this lead, and does he go the rest of the race and still have a chance to finish on podium as Sobbing Sock set purple Sector 1?
I feel like Jacob here, he's gonna have to pit, of course. So I feel like he's gonna lose that lead to Jab. Of course, like if he tries to stretch it, I highly doubt he can. His tires are gonna be really worn, and that's gonna allow Jab to catch right now. So I don't know. We'll find out, but I feel like it's not gonna stay how it is right now.
Yeah, I do agree. However, the seven lap, gap and enters between Jacob and Jab, I don't think it's that much of a difference as it would be if it was on dry tires. So I think Jab, as the gap continues to stay 4.4, and Jacob actually sets the fastest lap and gains a tenth or two.
Sobbing Sock That's the fastest lap now for him, 27.0. Now, something I'm starting to notice, which brings me to my next question again, is the track is starting to maybe lighten up a little bit, and these drivers are getting used to their inners more as they go. Some on fresher, some on older inners. What difference will this make as we enter the second half of this race? As we're about to enter that in about 7-8 laps, we'll see. So, with that being said, 4.2 is the gap between the lead. 4.1 now. FG Wolf has picked up a penalty, so this will get interesting with the way the rest of the race plays out, as we have another penalty too, I think.
Yeah, as Jake, a big mistake right there. He loses some time, just a little bit. Yeah, because he lost the back end out of the turn. He lost around like 5/10, so that's something that he does not need to do. It's gonna help Jab gain a little bit with Sobbing Sock, gaining just a little bit on Jab, trying to stick with him now as Jacob and Sobbing Sock have been using more ERS than Jab lately. But right now, 3.6. Let's see if Jab can gain anytime soon, as we have no battles on track at the moment. Echoes 3-second time penalty.
Yeah, no battles currently on track, the closest being Turner and Caterpillar, but, you know, to answer your question, Ryan, the track does look like it's drying. However, I don't know if it's going to. If it's going to be dry at the end of this race, I think it might stay inters, but I do think Jacob will have to pit, and maybe some of these other guys that pitted as well.
Well, Storm, the interesting thing here is if this race ends up drying up, Jacob started on the inners. And the thing is, if this does get dry by the end of this race, he's going to have to make a pit stop in this race. And that, you know, he can't go all the way to the last lap at that point with it being considered a no pit stop race, if I'm correct. I mean, I don't know how that works on the F1 game if it's able to dry up by the end, because, you know, if it's a full dry race, you can't go one compound, and you can't go the same compound. So, obviously, this is a wet race, so it's much, much different. And the time being gained between Jab and Sobbing Sock is much different, as Akos is retired in the pit lane. I think that's just the pit lane and not the wall. We'll find out.
Yeah, Jab closing that gap right now between him and Jacob. 3.2. Last lap in this area was 3.6, so he's 4/10 up. Sobbing Sock still in that same gap of Jab. So everybody's just sitting with each other, and now Finn's trying to get on Turner and Caterpillar, of course. But that's a little 3-car train going on right now. But yeah, 3.2. Jab's gaining 4/10 last lap.
Yeah, and something that you can see, you know, Jacob's definitely losing the rear a little bit more than Jab. So we'll see if that continues to play a factor as the race progresses. But yeah, Jab continuing to gain, but it's slowly. It's not as fast as he would like it. It stays 3.1, now 3.2.
Jab and Sobbing Sock have had to use a lot more of their ERS in order to keep gaining and gaining to the leaders. You see Jacob, 83% of his ERS. I focused on that for a moment. That could possibly play a factor in this race. We'll find out as Ref Caterpillar defending to the inside in order to keep this position over Turner. Turner, he got off to a horrible start, and I mean, even you consider the pit stops as well. Yeah, down 2 positions. Finn down 5. Obviously, Finn had the moment where he spun out. So obviously that's halted his chance at gaining at these guys, but he's in this little train now, and the best he probably could get from this if any mistakes happen is 6th.
Yeah, so of course, Jacob, like you said, Thrasher, he's losing the back end a lot more than Jab. This allows Jab to gain 3 seconds, 2.9 now, so he is gaining a lot here in Sector 2. He's now gained 2/10 on him off of Sector 2 right now, but yeah, Jacob's losing the back end a lot more, and I'm gonna say it's because of his 12-lap old tires, as Jab only has 5-lap old.
Yeah, something else to point out is Turner, going to what you said, Ryan. Turner, you know, when they went to pit for the inters, him and Jab double stacked. So that's what lost Turner, you know, some time, as he's in this 3-car train with himself, Caterpillar, and Finn, as he actually looks to try and make a move on Caterpillar soon.
Fastest lap for Jab is something we always see a lot. Can he get that extra point by the end, though? I mean, look at the fastest lap difference here. Jab, 0.0. Sobbing Sock, he's only a couple thousandths off of him. And then Jacob, 3/10 behind in that fastest lap. So that'll be interesting to see with their tire difference and their tire life, the difference you see right there. How's that going to play out for the rest of the race? We'll find out. But, yeah, I mean, to kind of speak on what you guys said, he's losing the rear a lot. I mean, something I wonder is he stayed out. Is he going to try to make it the rest of the race on these inners? And if he's not able to, is Jab and Sobbing Sock and everyone else going to have to follow suit? We'll find out.
So I feel like Jab and Saming Sak, and of course the guys behind that actually made a pit stop. I feel like they might be able to make it to the end. Of course, it's going to be really close, but I feel like Jab and Saming Sak, Smokey, I feel like they're 100% going to try to stretch it. So Jacob, if he has to pit, that's going to cost him, of course, if everybody behind tries to stay out, as he just set fastest sector 2.
Yeah, something real
Saming
quick
Sak
as I
too.
looked inside the server. BRT Extreme has left the server, so you know maybe that point
Shocker.
standings check that Jab gave him didn't help him. But no, Jab 2.8. You know the gap stays at the same in sector 3, but sector 2 is where Jab gains it all.
Oh, something I just found interesting, though, is that they are gaining on their fastest laps right there. Jab, I think, is the only one in the top 3 who did not run faster than their best lap right there. Jacob improved it by a 10th. And then Saming Sak, 26.8 now. So, obviously, you see the difference in the tire life and in the track improvement, too. So, that might be something to watch out for on how wet or how dry the track could be by the end of this race. I mean, there's still a lot of laps left to play out. We're not even halfway yet, but we're close. So 3 seconds is that gap between the lead. Then Saming Sak just a second behind. I've been seeing a lot more purple sectors from the guys in the top 3, so they're pushing it.
Yeah, Jacob just pulled like 3/10 here in sector 1, but of course, like you said, Thrasher, Jab's strong sector right here, sector 2. He gained it last lap. Let's see if he can gain it here. Looked like he made a little bit of mistake, poor exit, so I don't think he's gonna gain that time he lost in sector 1. So yeah, Jacob improving a little here on these 14 lap out enters. So let's see if Jacob can continue this, as he's gonna set fastest sector 2 by 3/10.
Yeah, I think Jacob is now getting into the point where he's in a rhythm on those 14 lap inters, and he could take those inters, you know, a lot more laps in the race. So I think as long as Jacob doesn't make any mistakes, I think he might have, you know, I think he might have a shot to win this race. And he sets fastest lap by 3/10.
Yeah, again, we saw last lap. Oh, we have a yellow flag. That is Viper who spun out, maybe, or reset the track. I don't know what that is, but he is now in the right direction, as he wasn't before. But yeah, 26.8 now by Jacob. We have another yellow flag. That's Viper once again off. No front wing now from Viper. So, yeah, something I noticed here with Jacob, Jab, and Saming Sak, though, is, yeah, they're really pushing it to the limit, and they're improving the laps. You know, the dirty air Saming Sak does have to worry about in this sense, in this battle. Jacob and Jab don't have to worry about that right now. So you see the difference with them and with the tire length, too, from first to second and third.
Yeah, of course, the top 3 is like the only battle on this track, really, where it's not even a battle right now. But, I mean, you have Turner, Finn, and Caterpillar. They're still in their little three-car trainer or something. Sucks trying to gain on Jab, of course. But, yeah, Jacob's in a little rhythm, as Thrasher said last lap. 3.5 right now, so as we have someone pitting, that's Viper, no front wing.
Yeah, Viper did reset the track, I believe, so that might be a penalty for Viper. But yeah, Finn now 4.5 now. You know, continue that gap with Turner and Caterpillar.
Ooh.
Smokey P4 picks up a 3-second time penalty, but Jacob continues to extend that gap over Jab.
Yeah. I mean, we're focusing on this battle for the lead, but here's Turner looking down the inside of Caterpillar. Down the inside. That's the first move we've seen in a while. He gets down the inside, rattles his cage just a little bit there. There's more contact. More wheels touching as we enter the final corner. Turner trying that switchback, though, as we enter turn 1. Here's Turner with the traction, though, in the slipstream, overtaking Gage. And here he goes into turn 1. Rev Caterpillar's giving him the squeeze right there. But around the outside, can Turner make this move have any sort of sense here, as he's trying to switch back? Now there's contact, and now he's gotten the right rear tire, which has got Caterpillar loose right there. And now here comes Finn back to the inside. Finn making a move and trying to go down the inside. Can he complete the pass? Yes, he can. Still side by side, though. Contact, and Finn has got ahead. I can finally breathe.
Well, Turner tried getting a position. Oh, and he hits Finn, and he's out. Or no, he's not out, but he's still in. But wow, Turner tried to make a late dive on Finn. It all started with the battle between him and Caterpillar, and he got a little lost the back in and hit Caterpillar, lost the position to Finn, and of course he tries to send it in on Finn and wrecks. So Caterpillar and Finn, they're all right, but Turner, really bad for him.
Oh, my
That's now the leaders. They're now off the final corner now in the sector 1. But yeah, Turner was getting held up by Caterpillar there, and it's now led to Turner with winning damage after contact with Finn.
Identical laps almost for Jab and Sobbing Sock. That's second and third. I don't know what Jacob ran there, but what I will say though is you can tell he's really pushing on these much more worn tires, and he's got himself into a rhythm. So that's the best thing for him in this race in order to keep this lead. If he's trying to go the full way, we don't know if he's going to go the full way. We don't know if he's going to pit. Now, my question before we enter Sector 2 is Jacob going the full way?
I still say no, in my opinion. I still say no, he's not. But I mean, he's doing really good right now on 17 lap on inters. Like extending a little from Jab 3.7, but Sobbing Sock, let's talk about him. He's gaining on Jab 8/10 as he, right as I say that, loses all of that time. So that's back down to 1.1. But yeah, Smokey, only driver in the top 5. Whoa.
Sorry.
Only driver in the top 5 who has a time penalty. Of course, that's Smokey right now. But PMB, you can take this over. I don't think Thrasher can speak at the moment. You're good.
Yeah, I hope. You know,
I
but
hope.
Jab, continuing to lose time, and this is not usually what we see. Usually we see Jab extend the gaps or close in. We rarely see Jab lose times, and that's a yellow flag.
Yellow flag for Turner. I don't know what happened there, but he's able to keep going. He's just barely inside the points now, too. So, yeah, I'll take over for that time being. But, yeah, something I noticed there at Sector 2 is, you mentioned how he lost the time there, and there's a crash! Viper's out of the race! This could bring out the safety car. It has! So, the safety car is out, but as I was mentioning, Sobbing Sock there lost 6/10 to Jab in Sector 2. Lost that time you were talking about, Davis. And, if they're looking to go to the end, if they're not now, this is the perfect opportunity to pit, maybe. But where will that put him? Track position, or can you get it back? We'll find out.
This is something I feel like, I don't know, if I'm Jab, I'm not happy about this safety car. Just because Jacob and Turner drive through. But yeah, I mean, Jacob has been polling on 7 lap old inters than Jab. So, I don't know, they're about to be on the same fresh tires and stuff. So, I feel like Jacob, if he continues his pace up, he can extend that gap again on the safety car restart. But Jab's going to have to give him a run for his money here.
So, I don't know if Thrasher's there or not, so I'm going to take over for his sector at the time being. But Sam the Nick brought up how you can do it 0 stop and enters, and it is possible, Davis, because in Tier 3 in Britain, last week is Turner 5-second for speeding in the pit lane. Last week, he's out of the session now. I don't blame him for that. Now there's only 10 runners left. But, yeah, I did it last week in Britain for Tier 3, so it is possible, but he is electing to pit. Now this is what Jab chooses to do. Does he do what the leader does? Or does he go opposite? He pits. Sobbing Sock, though, staying out. That's interesting. That I find interesting, just because of the fact that he was losing time there in that sector. Now is he going to be able to get him back to a rhythm? We'll find out. Now, coming out of the pits is Wolf. Is Sobbing Sock going to overtake him? Or what is he going to choose to do?
What I miss?
Turner's out of the session. We have cars pitting. So that's really about it. And Sobbing Sock is having to let Wolf go there, right there. The lap car. Safety car was brought out, by the way. Jacob pitted, and he's going to be second place right here, right behind Sobbing Sock, the leader. Then Jab, then Smokey. Smokey's the only driver with a penalty, and so does Wolf. And there's 10 runners left in this race. And now there's 9.
Wolf got that same thing that Davis did in Tier 2 in Bahrain.
Yeah, okay, buddy. You gotta bring it up.
He was a lap down and he tried to go past the safety car to get his lap back.
I didn't even try to.
Well,
Yeah.
although I will say, I mean, it is safety cars, so I mean, I don't think it really matters in what sector, we talk. I was gonna say, although it is safety car, and there's not been a lot of driver-to-driver collisions this race. There's not really been much of that. There's been a lot of collisions with drivers and their self, to put it in the nicest way. There's been a lot of self-inflicted spins, and it's caused now 8 retirements. 1 kind of being unfair for Wolf, but 8 drivers no longer in this race. Thrasher, you're an admin in this league, and I've got to ask you, The admins, as an admin, are you going to speak about this with the admins at this point? Because this is not good for amount of finishers left in this race. I will say that, and just
Yeah,
my personal opinion. So
I
yeah.
think us and Tier 1 coordinator Finn, um, we'll have a discussion about this. But yeah, like you said, this is unacceptable. You know, it's kind of getting in a habit now where we've seen close to half the field wreck out. And the last time we didn't really have anybody wreck out was Tier 4, believe it or not, Silverstone. I believe
Highest tier 2, by the way. This is just to point out. Just saying.
how many people worked out in Tier 2?
Any people wrecked out in tier 2?
Yeah.
Not a whole lot, but there was like I think 5 or 6, maybe, right? I think it was something. I know it was less than that. I want to say. Let me double check just to make sure, but it wasn't a whole lot from what I remember, at least.
I know
you know,
Tier 4 Silverstone, there was only one DNF.
Well,
It was
tier 3 yesterday there was 13 finishers and there was 18 or 19 people who started the race. So that wasn't too bad, but you know, I it's nothing against anybody in here or anything like that. It's nothing against, you know, anyone else, but I really start to question some of the drivers' capability or necessarily, you know, motivation when there's only 9 runners left in this race out of 18 cars. Or sorry, yeah, that's 17 cars who started this race. So it's something I start to question, and it's, I mean, we had what, 4 retirements in the first two laps before the restart had happened. So
Yeah.
I mean, I start to question it. Where is it going to be something the coordinators have to talk about with the drivers in the tier? I don't know. I mean, but looking back at tier 2, as you brought that up, Thrasher, tier 2, right? This is how many DNFs there were. Only 4. 13 out of 17 finished the race. So far this weekend, it's not been too bad compared to what I thought it'd be, considering, you know, track was changed to Hungary. We have safety car in this lap, though. So, Davis, I'll have you lead them off for the safety car restart. It's not Jacob leading this time. It is subbing Sock, so we have a brand new leader.
Yeah, so it's gonna be interesting here. Does Jacob make an overtake on Sami Sock into turn 1, and Jab's gonna have to be here to take advantage. He's gonna have to get a good start, try to get a position, at least try to pass Jacob or Sami Sock. So it's gonna be interesting. As Sami Sock goes way ahead of Jacob, I don't not know what Jacob was thinking there, laying off that bad or that much, I should say. But everybody's still nobody trying to challenge or anybody, as Jacob's gonna weave a little bit on Jab as we do up.
We have a crash at the back. That's Cameron. He's got no front wing at all. Oh boy. Well,
could have hit the back of someone.
Take it over from there. Subbing Sock. Yeah, 1 second lead for him. And, you know, I was just talking about Thrasher with the amount of finishers left and stuff like that. You know, now, because of that restart, we have 8 cars all close to each other and within striking distance and in a battle. So Smokey is the only driver in this sense with the penalty. You know, how does he race this race knowing that there's 9 finishers left? I mean, Turner's going to get a point there from just being 10th, so obviously that helps McLaren's chances. Aston Martin still will have both cars left in this race too, so that's good for them for a combined.
Yes, right now, I mean, Sobbing saw a great start by him. Jacob laid off so much, so of course, Sobbing saw 9 tenths ahead of him right now. You do have a little train going on between P5 and back down to P8. So that's interesting to keep an eye on right now. But yeah, 8 tenths between Sobbing Sock and Jacob. Jacob fastest sector 2 on the safety car restart.
Yeah, something to point out is Jacob starting to also pull away from Jab. He did through sector 2, which was something interesting. As Venom now is all over the back at Caterpillar, Venom could look to make a move sometime soon, but off the final corner, you know, 8 drivers, 1 driver with a penalty, 1 driver on all dinners. How will this play out?
Well, we'll find out how it plays out in these final 12, 13 laps of the race because, you know, I mean, this race has felt like forever with the way the restart happened and everything else. I mean, it has felt like forever. But we'll find out now what the rest of the race has to play out for us because overtake button engaged for Rev Caterpillar in this little train and 7 tenths between literally every single driver on that interval gap from first down to fourth. But Jacob is still gaining in this. Now, the thing is with Jacob that I'm focusing on is although he keeps setting these really good times and maybe picked up a warning right there, he is stuck in the dirty air. How does he cope with this, Davis?
Well, of course, he's just gonna, I mean, he's gonna have to hope Sobbing Sock makes mistakes, of course. I mean, he's doing a great job at, like, staying in, like, the dirty air of Sobbing Suck and now losing time 5-10. So Jacob is of course faster than Sobbing Suck, but you can also say it's because Sobbing Suck stayed out and he's on what 13 lap more like what's the word? I don't even know what the word is, but 13 lap old tires than Jacob right now. So I mean it's gonna be interesting to see. Jacob's doing a great job still gaining in that dirty air.
Yeah, he is. He is continuing to gain, but something else to point out is these drivers, this train has now been pretty much cut into a couple pieces. We have the top four, and then we have Shizue Sam at 1.4 back, Finn a second back, Rav Caterpillar a second back, and then it has Venom 7 tenths back of him. So we're not all on a train anymore, so that could be something interesting.
So you mentioned that, but Cameron is also this far back too, and he's about to be a lap down. But the thing is with Cameron, though, is he's hoping for a safety car. We've seen that happen, but the late race safety car, you know, we see that happen sometimes. Will that bring the field closer, and, you know, will there be more battles because of that? Or we'll just keep it the way it is, and it's single file all the way back from first to fourth, and it's everybody following the choo-choo train a little bit here. As, you know, something I noticed in the Sector 2 quickly is 6 tenths the gap for the lead. It's still a matter of coping with the dirty air. Can Jacob, with more fresher tires, get by Sobbing Sock?
Yeah, if I'm Sobbing Sock here, I want a later safety car. But, well, you can't say that just yet, but as of now, you do not want a safety car. Like, you're doing a great job right now, like, you know, keeping the gap the same. But later on in this race, Sobbing Sock might want that later safety car. It all depends on how good he, like, continues to pull or, you know, keep the gap with him and Jacob right now.
Yeah, speaking of that gap, Jacob is now 4 tenths back of Sobbing Sock and continues to gain. And Jab is not really gaining on either one of them, so this could really be huge for not only the championship, but huge for Jacob, as if he could possibly get by Sobbing Sock. This is 2 wins in a row potentially.
So I've noticed Sobbing Sock has had to use his ERS in order to maintain this lead, and Jacob is now starting to use it again, just to keep himself right there with Sobbing Sock. Jab still on the podium, and Smokey right there with the penalty. The penalty, though, for Smokey would drop him down to P6, though. So, obviously not something he wants, and if they want to challenge and if they want to get the lead, I think now is going to be this time, just because of the fact that if a late race safety car comes out, who do you want? Where do you want to be at? Because I don't want to be in that dirty air, and that's where Jacob is right now, who's 2 tenths up on his Sector 1 right there.
Yeah, Jacob having a really good first sector right now. 4 tenths down from Sobbing Sock. So let's see. Sobbing Sock's gonna have to nail this Sector 2, trying to get a little breathing air between him and Jacob right now. 4 tenths, barely extending that gap right now. He's going to have to nail this area right now. 5 tenths now. Jacob loses the car just a little bit. That's going to cost them, maybe not actually. Still 4 tenths now. 5 tenths between Sobbing Sock and Jacob. As
Is it me
Jab is gaining.
Is it me or is Jacob
He is
lagging
lagging.
a little
Yeah, he
bit?
is lagging.
Okay.
He is.
Something interesting, I checked while both of you were talking in your sectors. Sobbing Sock has 2 warnings. Jacob has 1. Jab does not have a single warning.
Great jinx, buddy.
Yes, thank you. But potentially, this could help, you know, Jacob, if Sobbing Sock gets 1 more warning as Jab sits fastest lap.
Something I was noticing before, Jab did set that fastest lap, and you did mention how Jab is gaining. He is really gaining now, and don't count him out because you know how much he is in this fight. Late race in these races, he's a fighter, and he's someone who's gonna fight to the very end, even if it matters for the championship or for a race. I mean, the championships, I mean, that's something he's not focusing on right now. He's focusing on winning this race. He could clinch the championship even earlier. He's 2 races ahead, but he's going to be below 2 races if Sobbing Sock wins this race. And, I mean, he sets the fastest lap right there, Jeb, but something to also focus on is Shizue Sam's pace right there, down in 5th. He could have a factor by the end of this. He has the 2nd fastest lap out of any driver in this race right now.
Yeah, it's just a 3-car train right now. Forza's lead 5 tenths, 3 tenths right now. Jacob and Jab doing a great job of sticking with each other and sticking with Sobbing Sock, of course. So, I mean, Jacob gaining just a little bit, like a little bit at a time. Of course, it's not like gaining massively, but I mean, it is what it is. He's gaining. That's all he needs to do right now.
Yeah, very true. And Jacob's now really close to Sobbing Sock. If he could potentially keep this stamp, we could possibly see him move into turn 1. But and we'll see that if that happens. But something else to point out, Jab, you know, he sometimes when he's not leading the race. He's a late race closer.
Yeah. You know, I used to, back in the NASCAR leagues when I raced with Jab, and you guys might remember this, I used to call him Jabba-Dab because, you know, the amount of times he's been able to pull things off, and that's how he'd celebrate back 5 years ago. But Smokey, 26-4 right there in that last lap. And he's starting to gain. He has the penalty. I don't know if he'll appeal it. It matters if he has warnings, obviously, after that. But if anything happens to any of the top three, he can maybe be a factor in this. And I want to get the chat's prediction. Who you guys think is going to win this race? And what will the last 70 laps be like?
Well, in my opinion, I feel like, I don't know. I feel like it's going to be Jacob or Jab here. Sobbing Sock, of course, he's doing a great job, but I feel like Sobbing Sock might make a mistake, and that's going to allow Jacob to, you know, capitalize on it. But of course, Jab, he wants to be here and get ready, because if Jacob makes a move, you need Jab to be there and try to, you know, do something too. But Smokey, let's not count on Smokey. He's gaining too.
Yeah, Jacob just the fastest sector 2 there. Yeah, I thought so, buddy. As he says, it's fastest sector 2, but loses a little bit of time in sector 3. Jab's also lost a little bit of time from Jacob, so the tires could start beginning to these guys, even though they're only 7 laps, but other than some exact 120 laps.
Yeah, I mean, me and Sam the Nick in Tier 3 Britain, we made it all the way on a 26-lap race in Inners Britain. So, I mean, I don't think tire difference is much of a confuffle for Subbing Sock here in the lead. But the pace drop-off difference could play a factor in that. I mean, there's not much of a pace drop-off difference, but considering the ERS being used by the leader here, it's down almost below 50 now. So this could play a difference. Smokey, he's below 20%, and Jab is in 40%, as Smokey picks up a second penalty now. So this changes the way he races up at the front of the field, as Jab set a purple sector 1.
Yeah, I take back what I said. I say count out Smokey 6 seconds. There's no chance, like, there's no chance he can win this race. He needs, like, a miracle to happen. But, I mean, yeah, still, that gap staying the same. 4 is between, like, 3 to 5 tenths, so it's just going back and forth right now. So, like I said, Jacob needs Sobbing Sock to make a mistake here and be there for it.
Yeah, but Jab, a little loose there for Jacob. Jab's now starting to gain back in 2 tenths now. This is the closest we've seen. Could we possibly see something as Jacob continues to slide?
Yeah, that's not going to be the sliding he needs. I mean, he needs to slide right past Sobbing Sock, the leader, and Jab might choose to slide around him too. Jab, we don't usually see him use a lot of his ERS, but you know he's pushing to try to get by Jacob down the inside under the brakes. Here he goes. There's contact made. Jab has got the move done, and Jab is through for second place in this race, and now he's got to go hunt down the leader. That's insane from Jab under the brakes, late braking. We might as well call him Daniel Ricciardo right there. That was great from Jab. He was able to get through, and that is the move he made. I'm going to quickly talk about SilentX Energy, though, as SilentX Energy is something you might want to check out. I don't think Thrash wants to check it out right now, but that might be something you might want to check out as Jacob loses positions right there. I will let Davis take over, as there's so much going on.
So that is exactly what Jab needed. He made that move right away, and Jacob couldn't put up a fight. So, of course, if Jacob put up a fight, this race would have been over. They would have been battling, and Sobbing Sock would have pulled. But, of course, that move lost around 3-4 tenths between first and second. But, yeah, 8 tenths. Let's see if Jab can, gain on him, as he's down to 36% ERS, and Sobbing Sock has 65.
There's something else to point out. Jacob got passed by Smokey. So that could be something to
No, Smokey has no chance.
No, I never said he did.
Yeah, well, what were you going to say, buddy?
I was saying that it could screw Jacob, because Jacob's going to now be losing time to both Jab and Sobbing Sock. So this could potentially be his win over.
Well, I mean, you guys bring that up, but Sam is 1.3 back from Jacob. So now that Jacob has got past, and he's also lost the position again to Smokey, that's 2 positions. One from Jab's move under the brakes, and one right there from losing the rear at turn 5 earlier. Sam is 1.4 back. I know he just, lost the rear a little bit there, but You know, is Sam going to be a part of this battle now? It's something we'll have to find out in the closing stage. 26-4 for Smokey in the best lap. 26-4 for Jab and 26-6 for Sabing Sock. If there's going to be a move made for the lead, though, you know Jab is going to try to go under the brakes and do it. That was an impressive move, though, Davis. Yeah, that's got to be surely overtake of the week for later on.
Yeah, did it right away, and of course late race, and didn't even lose that much time, to be honest. But I mean, I don't want to count Jab out yet, but it's not. He's gonna need a mistake, just like I said about Jacob. He's gonna need a mistake from Sabing Sock. Sabing Sock is doing such a good job of keeping that gap around the same time. So Jab needs a mistake right now from Sabing Sock, as he's actually gaining as I say that.
Yeah, Davis was so quick to say SilentX might not win. But SilentX continuing to hold off, you know, the fastest driver in Tier 1 right now. So
That's basically what I said.
Shut up. SilentX now continues to hold on. But Jab did gain a little bit there in Sector 3.
Well, you mentioned that, but if there's going to be a move made, it could be in a turn 1. Jacob is still trying to fight this back. 26-2, that's the fastest lap of this race. The only driver who has penalties, that's Smokey. And he is the driver that's kind of halting Jacob's progress to get back to the front, as Jacob lost it. And, I mean, you got to think for Jacob, did the win possibly go away right there for him? Whenever he lost the position of Jab and then, you know, everything else that happened? I don't know. And should he have stayed out the rest of the whole race? You know? That's something you gotta ask yourself. You can say all these shoulda, coulda, woulda statements, but that's something he'll probably be debriefing if he finishes the way, the position he's at with 5 laps to go.
Well, if Sabing Sock can hold on to this one, this is a great strategy call by him. Safety car comes out, and he's the only driver to stay out. And you have a wreck down in turn 1. Don't think that's gonna bring out anything. No, it's not.
Caterpillar, by the way, right before that happened.
It's not going to bring out anything, but yeah, Jab actually gained this lap in total right now. 1/10 gained on Sabing Sock, now it's down to 5/10.
Oh. Yeah, Jab gains time in Sector 3. They're even in Sector 2, but it looks like Sabing Sock pulls away in Sector 1. So this could very be interesting, as Sabing Sock just needs to hold on, and I think he's got this race won.
But we'll find out. ERS being used by both drivers from the top 2. Smokey's picked up 9 seconds of penalties now. So, with where he'd be at, he would finish back at 6th right now. So that's not so good for him. We have 4 laps to go in this race. And we're still seeing drama unfold. 9 drivers left. It's been the same since about, what, lap 18, lap 20-ish. So we've kept the same drivers motivated. And here comes Jacob on Smokey here. There's contact between the two. Both are inside each other. Jacob has gone through, and Jacob has taken the podium position right back. Even if he would have had it off penalties, he still's got it back on track this time.
Yeah, gap from the lead down to 4 to 5/10. But I mean, I feel like it's almost time to count out Jab, but like, of course, Sabing Sock, he's just like pulling all that time that Jab gained. But right now, it looks like Sabing Sock's struggling as I say that. Yeah, he's struggling now. As I say that.
I don't know.
I'm jinxing him. I don't know. I think I'm jinxing Sabing Sock right now. I mean, let's go. Let's see. Jab, 4/10, not losing time right now. Probably just jinx Jab as I say that.
I think we need to stop Davis from talking because he likes to jinx everybody, but...
Yeah,
move. Hey, there's a move at turn 1. Cameron and Venom are both making contact. That's not pretty.
Okay, well, that's in the back, but for the lead. 5/10 now. Jab trying to do everything he can to get on the back of Sabing Sock, but Sabing Sock just continues to have amazing pace.
Oh, lovely.
And
Is this going to be a safety car? Cameron's out. Venom's reset. That's not great.
That reset does nothing, to be honest, so it's fine.
I don't think we're going to get a safety car.
I mean, if you can't, like, don't even give Venom a penalty there.
Well, hold on. Jab is gained on Sabing Sock right there through turn 3. And something that might be worth noting is Jab is really pushing. 2/10 is that gap. Now he's enter Sector 2. Will he make a move into this section of the track? Look at this!
Let's see. Does he have any warnings?
Oh boy, Jab is just getting closer and closer and closer.
Okay, well, I take back my statement. Do not count Jab out just yet. Alright, never mind. You can talk, Storm.
Alright, so Davis continues to jinx. But no, Jab did amazing there in Sector 1 and continued to gain. But Sonic Sock just continues to pull away in certain parts of this track. And it can't give Jab, or he doesn't give Jab um, the time he needs to try and gain to even attempt to make a pass.
Jab is lining up a dive bomb here at turn 1. He got a little bit closer this time, and he's in the slipstream. Jacob set the fastest lap as he set a purple sector 2. Is Jab going to be able to do it on the brakes, though? No, I mean, he can't do it this time. I thought he was going to be close enough, but he'll have one more chance in the turn 1.
Yep,
You're certainly gonna. You know, but he needs to gain the time he did right there at the start of Sector 2. I mean, that was an amazing amount of time that he was able to gain, and Jacob is still within this battle. Don't count him out if something happens between the top 2. As Jab loses the rear at turn 3, still gaining with ERS. He's using a ton of it now, and Jacob has the best ERS out of this top 3. As Jab has got ever much so close as Venom picks up his first penalty.
Jab is pushing so much in the turn 4. He is pushing the limits of the 2. He's gonna make a dive.
Oh, he's
that was never gonna work.
And Sonic Sock's got a penalty.
That penalty is gonna get removed.
Oh my God.
That penalty is gonna get removed. So Sobbing Sock just does not need to pick up another warning. Sobbing Sock. Now it's all up to Jacob here. Y'all. Oh, count Jacob out. Count Jacob out. Yeah, look who's in P2 about to pass him for the lead, guys.
Yeah, well, you know, maybe if Jab. I mean, Jab. That was.
I should
not needed from
yeah,
Jab.
I agree.
But Sonic Sock now needs to block this inside. Jacob is going to send a dive bomb in the turn 1. If you're Sonic Sock, you can't get a warning.
Here we go!
He's gonna have to, because that penalty.
Here he goes.
That's
Can
not
he
a
do
penalty.
it? Can he do it? Oh, he goes down the inside, and Sonic Sock blocks it off as he did the same to Jab, and Jab went for the same move that Jacob did go for. But now to turn 2, he can make the move anywhere else, but this might be his last opportunity. Now as we head to turn 3 to turn 4, Sonic Sock keeps the lead. Behind is Jacob, then Smokey, as we have the run down to turn 4. Jab, the championship leader, is gonna finish as far down as 5th as it stands right now.
Yeah, I remember that penalty. That's not a penalty, so here we come. Coming to turn 6 and 7 for the final time. Jacob is not close enough to try to make a move here, which I wanted anyways. He's gonna have to set up for a Sector 3 final turn move and make a dive bomb for it. We'll see if Jacob can make the move. I highly doubt he can right now. He needs a little mistake from Sonic Sock right here to even have a chance to make a dive.
Is this possibly first season of Tier 4? Before you talk, Thrasher, that's worth noting. What do you think?
Well, here's what I think. I think now Jacob's going to have to send something massive into the final corner to even have a chance. Here comes Jacob now, looks everything he can. Around the second to final corner. Can he get the run out of it now to send anything into the final corner? Does he have anything? He pushes, but it won't be enough. Sobbing Sock will get the penalty removed and will win the Hungarian and the Hungarian Grand Prix.
I'm gonna check Sobbing Sock real quick. I'm gonna see if he got a warning on the final lap. No, he did not. So yeah, that penalty will be removed.
Unbelievable. It's Sobbing Sock for a first win at GSR. Obviously, pending appeals, which I'm sure that will get removed. That should easily. But what we have seen has been crazy right there. I mentioned Tier 4 last lap. It was possible. We could not see it right there. Not what I thought could happen. Unbelievable. Let's get the podium finishers in here, guys.
Hope the strategy paid off by Sobbing Sock.
Well,
guys really said count Jacob out. It's crazy.
I mean, he had a chance there at the end. That race was playing crazy, man. That race was playing crazy. You don't know what could happen at the end there. You know, it was all trading positions and so much was going on. But it is Sobbing Sock. You are winning appeals, obviously. These are the final results of the race.
I don't agree with Jab's dive right there. I don't agree with it.
I don't
should have waited.
I agree. I think it was a bit dumb of a move. But
Can't
let's
pass
get
Sector
the
2.
podium, man.
Just can't pass in Sector 2. That's the way I look at it. I mean, there's not... Look, the thing is with Jab, and Jab's going to be really looking at that, kicking himself in the face, if that's even possible. But, you know, the thing is that I think Jab is going to be looking back and thinking, look, look, the quote I look at, kicking himself for, but the quote I look on that for is that there's not a zone in the track or an area in the track where it's prohibited passing and stuff like that. It's not like, real life where you can't pass in certain areas. With Jab, in this situation there, he's got to be thinking about that corner. It's not a recommended corner to go for a move. Turn one, the way he gone for the move on, I think it was Jacob where he did. That right there, I will say, is a move you make. The one at the chicane now, that's not a move you make, and Jab messed himself up from that.
Yeah, as we're waiting for the podium drivers to join, Jacob has joined. We're now just waiting on Sam and Simon Sock. But I don't know.
So, Jab was able to recover to fourth. Did Smokey had the penalty. So yeah, Jab was able to recover to fourth. So that's not too bad. It's 2 fourth places in a row, but it's not the Jab we usually see. He's usually at least putting out a podium from stuff like that, though, but he wasn't able to this time. Interesting. Very interesting.
And so I just pinged Simon Sock and Sam if they want interviews.
We'll find out. We'll give him another minute.
So Sam won't be able to. So, and I don't know if Simon Sock will. He's yet to respond. So while we have Jacob in, I think we'll give him his interview, and then we'll see if Simon Sock joins. Before being a stream.
Well, I mean, Jab said he went for it, and he really went for it. It's a good thing, though, Thrasher and Davis, that Jab has got the big lead he does in the championship right now. That's the good thing about going for a move like that, though.
Agreed. So while we have Jacob here, let's ask Jacob. Let's ask him a couple questions. So Jacob, make sure you have your audio included into the stream. So you started out, you and I believe it was Term, were the only two to start on the inters. It was a bit of a bold decision, but I guess it ends up working in your favor. Take us through your decision on that. Bold strategy that you were trying to make.
Well, I had a couple of league races in like the last month where it's been full wets at the start, but it's gonna dry up pretty quickly, and I think it's pretty obvious to start on the inters if it's gonna be 10 minutes around until it's light rain, because you're not gonna lose too much time. And so yeah, it was a pretty easy decision. At first I thought it wouldn't work out because it was very wet and we were losing a lot of time, but in the end it did work out.
Yeah, something else that could be interesting. You were leading with your strategy. You were kind of pulling away from Jab most of the, or in certain parts of the track. He would gain on you, you would gain on him. Do you think the tire advantage? Do you think there wasn't an advantage at all throughout the race?
Well, I think it's weird with the inters because when you first put them on, they're not even that good. You have to get them worn a bit. My tires obviously were falling off a lot towards the end, but obviously before the safety car. But I was still managing to pull away from Jab. I think he burned his tires out too much in a couple of laps. I think he really pushed, drained all his battery. He brought the gap down by 2 seconds, but I think he just killed his tires doing that. So then I could easily pull the gap away again. So I think the tire advantage is still there with the inters, but it's not as significant as it would be if it was dry.
Well, that's it from me. We'll go with Ryan. Do you have any questions for Jacob?
Yeah, so obviously, the game says you won, but we'll have to take into account that Sabing Sock got a penalty from the jab contact, which, would probably be appealed, I'm assuming. So either way, it's rather first or second, which both work for you because you've scored, what, 43, 44 points in the last 2 races with your win last week. So that's really good for you, considering, you know, I think us commentators want to see a fight given a jab for what may be constructors, what may be drivers, or just for races. So my question to you then, with that being said, is, you know, with the last 2 weeks, what do you think of the words "never give up"? I guess because it's still a long season, with the way the last couple races have gone, for a championship, and it's still a long season to fight for more wins.
Yeah, I mean, obviously only joining last week as a reserve. I don't know if it's possible for me to win the championship, but I'll turn up every week I can and see if a full-time seat comes available. Then I'll be on it, and then I'll try and push for the championship. I mean, if I can keep the consistency up every week, then I don't see why not.
Hell yeah, man! I think me and Thrasher and anybody else would want to see you full time. You definitely deserve it out of anybody, right, Thrasher?
Oh yeah, definitely. I would love to see a battle.
Me too.
But now we'll see. This Davis, do you have any questions for Jacob?
So Jacob, when you, of course, what was it? After Jap passed you for P2 and you lost all those positions from someone with a time penalty, like what were you thinking? Were you thinking you had no chance of even having a shot to win or what?
Well, I mean, I think Jab's move was a bit unfair, to be honest. He was very far back. I mean, it's hard to overtake, so you can't blame him for sending it, but I think it was a bit over the top. And then, obviously, I was a bit annoyed at it, so in the next few corners I tried catching back up, and I lost it coming out of one of the corners. Don't know how I didn't put it in the wall. And then I was behind Smokey, was it? And then I knew I had better pace than the 3 of them. Just had to get past Smokey, which I did because he was lagging. But I knew I wouldn't be able to pass Sub and Sock because of how difficult it is to overtake, and I'm not like Jab. I won't just send it anywhere. Probably crash. I'd rather just keep my position.
Yeah, well, good job on P1 off track, P2 on track. You're gonna have to hope a miracle happens for Subbing Suck to keep his penalty, but I mean, it's at least a top 2 position, so good job.
Yeah, thanks.
Alright, well, we're not gonna have any other interviews as Sam cannot and Seven Sack does not have a mic. So I think that's gonna do it for us, guys. You know, what an eventful race. You know, we saw some battling, you know, an amazing finish. But we could finally say that we saw some very good racing in the wet at Hungary.
Yeah, I surely agree with that. As I spoke about earlier, I think something that definitely needs to be improved is just the driver's motivation to continue in the race and just the simple finishing the race. I mean, we had 8 finishers. I think it's 7 really, if we're being honest, but 9 classified finishers. So, you know I was talking about Alicio earlier. We don't want to see a repeat of Mexico last season, Thrasher. And I think, you know, if we continue to have the amount of DNFs we're having in Tier 1, we might see that. And that's not a good thing now. So, I don't know. We'll see how Tier 4 goes tomorrow. I hope it goes better with the amount of finishers. It was impressive last week that you guys in Tier 4 were able to have the amount of finishers you guys were. I was like, holy cow, it's like lap 24 and there's everybody left in the race. I mean, shit, I'll take it. But that's really cool that was able to happen. And I just hope it's able to happen for Tier 1 because, you know, these are some of the best drivers on this game and just in the league. And, well, it's the best drivers in the league, of course, because it's Tier 1. But I'm saying best drivers in league racing that we've seen, you know, and they're in Tier 1 and there's a lot of them not finishing the race. We need to have more finishers. You know, that's not fair. So if the race plays out the way it should, we'll find out. And, yeah, that's really about it for me. And I'm interested to see what goes on in, what is it, Imola next week for Tier 1? I've not commentated a single race there yet, if I'm correct. So I'm happy to commentate there, and I think that's the last race I need to commentate out of the tracks that have been in the F1 game. I didn't do Vietnam, I didn't do Malaysia, I did Germany, but I've done every track except for Jeddah and Imola, so that should be a lot of fun.
And Davis, anything else you'd like to add?
Nope.
Alright, well, that's gonna do it for us. You know, as PNB mentioned
Talk about
earlier.
SilentX. Talk about SilentX.
If
Yeah.
you shut
There you
up.
go.
as PNB
There you go.
mentioned earlier, tune into SilentX Energy. He has healthy energy drinks that are better than some of the energy drinks you can get, like G Fuel, etc.
You just shut
Um,
up already.
You know what? They were really annoying me here. But anyways, we also have some GSR merch out on the website. So, go in, make sure you get some merch today or get some energy drink. That's gonna do it for us.
That's right.
I've been GSR Thrasher. We have had Ryan Ocon and Davis 2K7 with us. Thank you everybody for tuning in. We will do Tier 4 tomorrow at 3:30 p.m. Eastern Time, 8:30 Britain Standard Time. And
Don't watch.
that is
NASCAR's gonna be on.
Hungary.
Well, hold on. Let me correct you, Thrasher. I need to correct you. I need to cut in because the clock's changed for
Oh,
the
that's
American
right.
people tomorrow.
What time does it go
Therefore,
to?
it'll be a 4-hour difference. So that'll be something to figure it out.
Wait, so it would be
So, something I'm
6:57
gonna-
right now?
So yeah, it would be
Oh my
right.
God.
So for UK people, it would be 9:57 right now. So the point that I'm gonna make with that Thrasher before we end off is that that'll rather be 3:30 Eastern, 7:30 UK, or 8:30 UK and 4:30 Eastern. So that's all I have to say. I'm sorry to cut in.
Wait, I'm confused.
Alright.
Wait,
Well,
so what time
for
would
a
it be
difference.
here? What time would it be here right now?
Okay, so let me just explain that before we end the stream. So 5:57 it is for us American people right now. 9:57 it would be for the UK. It's a 4-hour difference for the next 2 weeks because of the
So it
clock
only
change.
changes for them?
No, the clock's changed for us.
So
We
what
go an
time
hour
does
ahead.
it go to
so
here?
It's
Are
an
you
hour
dumb,
ahead.
Davis?
So wait, so
Anyway,
It would be
we'll figure that out. I think you get the point anyway. So,
what time would it be, Storm?
anyways, we'll try
What
to get
time would it
that
be, Storm, right
over
now?
Davis's.
Okay, so it would be currently right now it's 5:58, right? But it would be
Yeah.
4:50.
Let's go, Dub.
Oh my God, get Davis. Please end this stream. Davis is annoying.
All right. Well, anyways, see you tomorrow for Tier 4, whatever time that may be. We'll
That's
figure
gonna
that
be
out.
on a
Have
3:30
fun.
Eastern. Watch
We'll
that
see you
instead.
at Allah.